There has been this idea that democratizing and disintermediating the processes of clearing and settlement can be done without any impact on market quality, just by switching to a blockchain technology. Of course, if you take away CCPs and the CSDs, you're taking away the trusted entities. You have to trust the system to be able to make sure that your ownership is guaranteed, that your shares are yours and no one will lose them. And that's what blockchain is doing through the proof of stake or through the proof of work. It's a way of bringing trust in what is essentially a trustless network.
What were the main findings of the research conducted by the WFC?
We've been interested in these new technologies for quite a while. The members of the WFE are keen to understand what efficiencies and what advantages these technologies could bring. And as part of that, we have thought of different questions that had led our research in the last months. One of the questions was, what is the relation between the mining power in a blockchain and the market quality? And this question arises because as we all know, when we have DLT, distributed ledger technologies, where you don't have a trusted entity to validate the settlement process, and the settlement process is validated through the network using a blockchain or any other proof of work or a proof of stake, there is implicitly uncertainty in the settlement process, and therefore we thought whether these would be related in some way or another to the efficiency of the trading and the market quality. So the question arises whether there would be any relation between the mining power and the market quality that the DLT offers. So this was the initial question, and what the research found is that effectively there is an impact. So the fact that you have latency in the settlement process when you're using a Bitcoin blockchain, for example, means that the uncertainty in the time of settlement has an impact on the liquidity on one side, and also it increases the price impact, which makes the trading more costly. So effectively, two elements which are fundamental for market quality, which is liquidity, having enough liquidity so you can trade at an optimal price, and having low price impact, are two elements that are affected because of the uncertainty that surrounds the settlement process on a DLT blockchain platform.
What factors contribute to the variability in settlement latency, and does that affect the quality?
There is no oversight on there's no entity, not that, or the owner of the platform, or even the participants in a distributed ledger, they cannot control the frequency or the timing of that when the validation occurs. So the mining process depends on factors which are completely unexpected and random. So it could be that mining power can increase or can decrease depending on the computational efficiency that is available at some point in time. So this is a completely random element. So imagine that what we were saying there is that if this random element, this random settlement, is delayed by a certain amount of time, a 1 minute time, for example, then it means that settlement will have to wait until validation concludes the process. And this has an impact on the trading, because traders will refrain from trading if they don't see that settlement is concluded, and therefore the liquidity will decrease. And at the same time, you have the lack of certainty on the final price will affect also the ability of the traders to trade at the optimal price at any point in time. It's interesting because there's no way of controlling the mining power, and it's an element that's completely exogenous to the platform and to the traders. It's not the owner of the platform that can control that, but it's something that is only happening in some way externally and randomly, because it depends on the computational power at any point in time.
What is going to be the result of this report?
There are two different implications. On one side, you think, well, if you think about the current blockchain platforms, this is an important element to take into account for the users of those platforms. to be aware that there's some limitations in terms of the market quality of those systems. There's another type of implication, which is for entities that are planning to go into that space and use DLT. So they have to take into account, or at least be aware, that the market design will have an impact on the market quality. If I am thinking of, creating a platform for spot trading using DLT, then I have to take this into account to make sure that I either, minimize that effect or choose a structure of a DLT structure that is different and doesn't rely on or doesn't imply some settlement latency. So, for example, a DLT that is permissioned will probably not have the same type of issues because you're not relying on you don't need to have a validation process that generates this settlement latency. So in both cases, I think the results are relevant, both to understand the current platforms that rely on blockchain type of technologies, and also for future design of new platforms where understanding how this operates is fundamental to make sure that market quality is not affected.
What has been the reaction to the report so far?
It has attracted a lot of interest. It shows that the thinking about new technologies has to be serene and to be conscious of the trade-offs that are involved. And certainly this is something that has attracted attention both from the crypto world and from the traditional financial world. So we are aware that it has implications on both directions.